our lymphatic warm-up. Then we're going to move into some poses that have some spinal extension as options in those to really lengthen the spine. Okay, there we go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga for the Heart. So we're in the month of March 2026, and we're thinking about opening the heart center. And it's so good for posture because we tend to do the slouch on the couch. That's David's term. So no slouch on the couch. We're going to open up through the chest and also do some spinal extensions. Now I want you to think about your back here. This part of your back is the lumbar spine. That's the very lowest part of your spine, except for the sacrum. That's the biggest vertebrae that you have in your spine. And this has what we call a lordotic curve, where it curves inward. When we do our spinal extensions today, I don't want you to necessarily cause this to get even, that arch to get bigger. I want you to think further up on your back in the mid back to the thoracic spine. This part of your spine curves this way, which is called the kyphotic curve. And over time, people can get that really hunchback. So that's the part of your spine I want you to think about lengthening and going the other way with. So if we do a back bend and you lengthen up, instead of bending back at your low back, I want you to keep this pretty stable and think about lengthening through the mid to upper back. It's really subtle sometimes, but you'll feel it if you're doing it correctly. Okay, let's start with our lymphatic warm-up. What I want you to do is take your feet in a small warrior one or a split stance. Keep your feet parallel. And then take your hands palms up. I want you to rotate. You can even take your thumb out to the side. So thumbs out and then rotate thumbs down. So David sent me a nice video in regards to the biceps and the biceps tendon and kind of where we get tight in certain areas. And this action, when we rotate the thumb out, is called supination. And when we rotate it in is pronation. And we are in pronation a lot in our life, typing, eating at the table, and we're not in supination as much. So we can get some tightness in through the forearms. And when we rotate out, that does contract the bicep. So now I want you to add a knee lift here and down. I had to really think about that for a second. My body didn't want to balance. Woo! I practiced this morning and it was a lot easier when I practiced it. Good. So we have supination when the palms are up, like you're holding a can of soup or a bowl of soup, and then pronation when it's down. Okay, couple more here. And one more. Rest. Okay, now switch the stance of your feet. Now we're going to be focusing on the wrists quite a bit, so I want you to bring your hands in that position. Take your fingertips down and up. I just want you to notice your wrists. Does this feel uncomfortable? Don't force your wrists to go into a position that doesn't feel good for you. But we're going to be on our hands quite a bit today, so I do want to warm up the wrists through this range of motion. And then you're right, we're going to add the knee lift up and down. Oh man, today's one of those days where balance is really a challenge. Good. Stabilizing on that front leg, keeping a slight bend in the knee. Flex and down. Flex. Okay, now my brain is keying in. This is getting a little bit better. Let's do a couple more on this side. And one last rep. Good. Okay, step your feet together. Do little heel drops. So lift the heels up, drop down, up, drop down. So you're creating an impact as much as you want to create to send a shock wave up through your skeleton. Now, as you do this, I want you to take your arms out to the side and hold your fingertips up. And imagine you're pushing a wall, 2 walls away from you. Good. One more. And then turn your hands down this way. Ooh. Let's do 5 more heel drops. Do you feel that stretch up through the top, your inside of your forearm, up into your bicep a little bit? 3, 2, and 1. Okay, soften your knees, come down into a chair pose. What I'm going to have you do is open your fingers wide, fold your thumb across, fold your fingers over your thumb, and then drop your knuckles to the floor. Oh boy. Then open back out. So fingers out, thumbs across, fingers fold over, drop your knuckles down. Good. We're going to do 5 of those. Fingers open, thumbs across, fingers fold over, drop your knuckles down. Oh boy. 2 more. Fingers out, thumbs across, fold the fingers over, drop the knuckles down. Let's do 1 more time. And you're still in chair pose, right? We're doing isometrics for the legs. Thumbs down, and then open it back out. Body wave up. Now let's start to get the body really moving here. Shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, the breath, coming up on the balls of the feet, focusing on good, strong core connection and balance. Just 3 more of these. 1, 2, and 3. Pause. Split stance with right foot in front a little bit. Body wave. Now this feels a little different, right? Coming up on the balls of the feet. You're in a staggered stance. I'm going to do about 10 reps. 5 more. Up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, stagger your stance the opposite direction. Split stance, feet about hips distance apart, bend the knees, raise up. Oh, it's always this leg in front that gets me. Up. And 4, 5, 6. Make sure the range of motion feels okay for your shoulders. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Change feet. Step back further to get a calf stretch on your back leg. We're going to bring our right arm forward. Take the left hand and do some percussion massage along your forearm and up your bicep a little bit. So you just got your hand like a karate knife and you're doing a little percussion. Now you can turn your palm down and you can get the back part of your forearm. Turn it up. You can have your arm longer, straight, to stretch the muscle out. So just do about another 10 seconds here, percussion massage on that arm. I don't know if it's a massage, but it's percussion. Okay, relax. Take a side stretch over. Breathe. Tighten your left glute. Great job. And switch sides. Step back right foot. Press your heel down. You're getting a stretch for the calf. Percussion on that left arm. So you don't really want to hit the bone much. You're looking for getting the muscle. You can also flex your wrist when you're doing this. That's going to tighten that muscle up a little bit. And I'm right-handed, so when I'm doing this with my left hand, it feels pretty awkward. This is going to take some practice for me to do this with my left hand. Good. And about another 10 seconds on this side. I'm going to lengthen the arm long. Getting some blood flow to the area. We're loosening up the fascia. And relax. Stretch over. Open up this hip flexor. Nice side bend. Abs are really engaged. Great job, and relax. Switch feet, other foot in front, short stance warrior one. We're going to bring the hands to the heart center. I'm going to turn on a little bit of an angle here. Open out into chest expansion and close. So I'm going to give you some actions that in just a couple of minutes you can add some weights to if you want. If you want to pick them up right now and go ahead and get started with a little lightweight with this, you certainly can. But I want you to focus on opening the heart center, firing the muscles of the back. Good. Hold hands at heart center. Next movement is we're going to reach up and then again through this upper part of the back, extend your spine, gaze up to the ceiling, and then bring your palms back to your heart. Reach up, spinal extension, and come down. Now, if the spinal extension doesn't feel good for your back for whatever reason, all you're going to do is just reach up. And don't worry about that little bit of a back bend. Notice you get a little bit more stretch through that back leg hip flexor when you're adding a little bit of a back bend in. Now let's put all the movements together. So we'll open out, inhale, exhale, palms together, reach up, inhale, and exhale back down. So again, you could have light weights with this, have them in your hands, and do the same exercise here with some light resistance. Nice job. And let's do 2 more sets. Open, close, lengthen, and come down. Okay, switch your stance. Short stance warrior 2 on the other side. I feel a nice hip flexor release on that other leg that was in the back. So let's just do the open and close. And think about the muscles that you're activating. And imagine you're pushing your elbows. If I was standing up against my wall here, like I'm pushing my elbows back into the wall. So you're creating some imaginary force. And if you're using weights, just really light. Probably nothing heavier than 3s or 5s at the very most. 1 more of these. And then we'll keep the palms together, lengthen up, and stretch through that mid-back section, and come back down to the heart. Now, if your shoulders bother you, you can do this right in here, right? You don't have to bring your arms clear above your head to get that same action. But we're getting a nice stretch through the lats. The further we lift the arms, it is a functional action to do. And if you've got your palms together, maybe create some force here. Push into your palms as you do this. And then let's put everything together. We'll inhale to open. And exhale. And inhale, lengthen. And exhale. Good. Modify anything you need to. If you start feeling the slightest bit of pinching in your back or soreness in your shoulders or anything with this, just dial it down a little bit, dial it back a little. You'll still get all of the benefits from this sequence. Great job stabilizing through your feet. Let's do 1 more. You've got a nice Pada Bandha, the foot lock here into your mat. And then step the feet together and relax. Palms towards the front of the room. Bring your arms back behind you and then bring them forward and sit into chair. And back. So with this very simple flow, I love to add movement of the neck. So each time you stand up and your arms go back, look to one side and then to the front and look to the other side. So how are the forearms? They're in supination, right? Because when we bring our hands forward, our palms are up like we're holding a bowl of soup. Now come up and pause. Instead of having your palms forward, turn your thumbs in so the hands are behind you. And we're going to press the arms back like you're pushing a wall away, and then sit into chair. Press back. And think about not only pressing back, think about pressing your shoulder blades down and back. Then let's add some movement of the head each time you stand up. Look. Try to keep your shoulders completely level so you're not turning in your thoracic spine at all, just your cervical spine. Nice. Let's do one more looking each direction. Last one. Take a break. What would happen if the right palm was forward into pronation or supination, the left one was back, and we move the arms away from each other, and then we sit into chair. Move the arms away, sit into chair. So what I'm going to add this time with this action, as you stand up, slightly twist your spine to the left side, and then stay forward. So you're not just turning your head, but you are rotating your spine. Each time you come down into chair, make sure your knees are tracking. Let's do one more of these. And then relax. So now you switch the left palms in supination, the right palms in pronation. We come forward, and then we sit into chair. Good. Range of motion is all up to you, whatever feels good for your arms, and then you'll start a rotation to the right side as you stand up. Now your hip bones are going to continue to face forward, but everything above the belly button is going to turn a little bit to that right side. And you can breathe wherever it feels right for you with the inhale and the exhale. I usually typically exhale into a twist. One more time. And then relax down. Okay, if you want to use a hand weight, I want you to grab one of them, put it in your left hand, and let's step into a warrior two stance with your right foot in front. Without the weight is absolutely fine. So you're going to lift this right arm out into your warrior two position. Look toward your hand, turn your palm up into supination, and then do a reverse warrior. Then come back up, turn your palm down, pronation, turn and look at the other arm and lift it up. That's your pattern. So hand comes down, palm rotates up, reverse warrior, and come up, palm turns down, look back toward the hand and lift. 3 more repetitions with or without a weight. Inhale. Palm down. Exhale. Good. Palm up. Inhale. And exhale. Good. One more time, or breathe wherever it feels comfortable for you. And then relax and change the legs to warrior two. With the opposite leg in front, switch the weight, option for the weight to the back hand. I'm going to reach this hand forward, turn and look toward that hand, turn the palm up. Supination, reverse warrior. Come back up, turn the palm down, lift the back arm and look towards it. And lower, palm up, stretch into that side bend. Palm down, look toward the back hand. Good, nice, slow and controlled. And the process is exactly the same if you're not using a weight. It's the same flow of movements. Good, let's get 2 more. Palm up. Inhale. Nice, turn the palm down. Look back. And 1 more time. Palm down, look and lift. And then relax. Good. Walk your feet back together. We're going to come down on our hands and knees. So I'm going to lengthen my little blanket out here because we're going to be here for a little bit. So take your time to come all the way down to your hands and knees. So what we're going to do is a couple of wrist stretches here and child poses. And then we're going to do a full 3-minute, I got to get my timer, a full 3-minute bird dog sequence. So we have 4 limbs, right, when we're on our hands and knees. So come down to your hands and knees. But before we start this, I want you to take your right hand, turn your fingers so they're pointing back towards you, and stretch your right wrist in the reverse position than you normally have it. Just briefly. And then set it back down. Take the left hand, turn your fingertips toward your knee, and stretch. And then bring it back to all fours. Give me a cat stretch. So round your back up like a cat. And then cow is a spinal extension. So we're going to tip our tailbone up. Try to open up the heart here and let your belly drop. And then flow back and forth between cat, which is spinal flexion, and cow, which is spinal extension. Now be aware of your neck so that when you're doing cow, I don't want you to throw your head back. I just want you to lengthen your chin forward. So it's not really pinching the cervical spine, cervical vertebrae. Okay, let's take a break from our wrists. Walk the hands forward, drop down into extended child's pose. If your forehead doesn't touch the floor, you can slide a block underneath there just so you can relax your head. Okay, so for this 3-minute bird dog sequence, we're going to break down the bird dog and do each limb for 30 seconds. And when we remove one limb from the floor, we have a 3-point connection to the earth. So our core has to really stabilize here. So let's come back up to your hands and knees. I want your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. Your gaze is right down toward the floor. Lift your right arm off the floor, and I want you to flex your wrist and then point your fingers down. So we're going to be doing a wrist flexion and extension while we're holding this 3-point connection into the floor for 30 seconds on this side. Now your left wrist might be getting a little tired, so if you need to drop down to your elbow or something like that, that's great. And then set your right hand back down to the floor. Lift your left arm forward, flex, and then fingers down. So I want you to check to make sure you're not in a back bend here. You have a neutral spinal position and you're really connecting with your core, firing up through the transverse abdominis. Good. Okay, that's 30 seconds on this one, so set your hand down. Now slide your right leg straight back, level off your hips, flex your ankle and point. Flex and point. Now I want you to distribute the weight pretty evenly with the 3 points of connection on the mat, but you might notice the weight feels like it's more in your right arm here because of that, the way the weight is distributed. Okay, send your right knee back down. Left leg goes out, level off your hips, flex your ankle and point. Now you should feel like more work is in your left hand, but I still want you trying to make those 3 points of connection equal. Scoop your abs in. Brace that lower belly. Check your head position. Okay, set that left knee down. Now take your right leg back and your left arm forward. Flex and point both your ankle and your wrist. If that's too much to think about, just think about holding your bird dog for 30 seconds. Good. You have 10 seconds more, then we'll switch this, and that will actually bring us up to 3 minutes in this bird dog sequence. Okay, let's switch. Left leg back, right arm forward. Flex and point. Flex and point. Both the ankle and the wrist. We have 15 seconds to go, and that will be a full 3 minutes in bird dog. We're going to be getting ready for that 3-minute plank pretty darn soon. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and relax. Open your knees wide, your big toes to touch. Sink down into extended wide knee child's pose. Now widen your arms a little bit more, and then take your left hand and put it on top of your right hand, and then try to stretch the left side of your core and your lats. So you're in a little bit of a side bend here. And you can sit your hips all the way back to your heels if you want, or keep them lifted like mine are more in puppy pose. And then let's switch. Bring the left hand out to the side of your mat. Put your right hand on top of it. And then push out into your right rib cage a little bit here. Breathe. And then take both hands back extended out. And then pull yourself up to come back to a neutral position with your knees. So we're going to go from extended child's pose to a kneeling plank or to a kneeling up dog. So this would be your spinal extension option. So sink back towards your heels, extend through the shoulders, then come forward and drop those hips down any amount. Now, if that spinal extension bothers your low back, just come to neutral right here. Just a nice kneeling plank. You don't need to go that extra little bit if you're feeling anything in your back. Good. One more time here. It's great mobilization of your spine. Then come back to your hands and knees. And we're going to take a big step forward with the right foot. I have my chair here just in case I need it to kind of help myself balance. But we're going to come into a kneeling lunge. I'm going to fold up my mat or my blanket a little bit more for more padding. And then let's sink down into a hip flexor stretch. So your chest is lifted. You can support here on your thigh. Or we can take the left arm and reach it up toward the ceiling. I want you to tighten your left gluteal muscle and really feel that hip flexor open. And then an option to slightly side bend over to your right side. And breathe. Okay, then release that and start to straighten your front leg and shift back into Hanumanasana prep. So this is a hamstring stretch. You can have hands here up on the chair. Lengthen through the spine here. Try not to round and hunch your back. Breathe. And then let's do each one of those one more time. So the front knee bends. We shift forward into the hip flexor stretch. Maybe lift the left arm and side bend. And then release that down and shift back into your hamstring stretch. Some of you might be able to sit all the way back toward the heel on that left leg. No can do for me, but make this feel comfortable for your body. And then the way I like to change sides is I put both hands to the inside of my front leg and just swing it around. And then we'll repeat to the other side. So we'll take a big step forward with the left foot. We're into kneeling lunge, low lunge. This is also called Anjaneyasana, asana, especially if we reach both arms up. So you can try that if you'd like, or support your left hand down, right arm lifts, maybe take a little side bend. Anjaneyasana. Tighten your right glute. It really does help your hip flexor relax. Okay, let's switch into the other stretch, straightening out the front leg any amount. You can use blocks here to put your hands on if you don't quite come to the floor, or I love the use of a chair here. It's wonderful. Ooh, this side feels a little bit tight today. So let's do this one more time on each side. So we'll shift forward. Our goal is opening up this back leg hip flexor. So that arm is the one that lifts, and we side bend over to the left. This can be uncomfortable on tender knees, so make sure you have padding. And then shift back into the other stretch and hold. This used to be a very easy sequence for me, and now it's just amazing after the joint replacements how difficult this has gotten to be, but I can do it. So we do it to the best of our abilities. Okay, let's put the hands down, come back to both knees. If you're doing okay on your knees, we're going to be here for a little bit longer. If you're not doing okay on your knees, stand up, because the same thing we're going to do can be done on your feet. So we're going to do a camel pose. So I want you to take your fists and put them back on your sacrum. Open your heart and lengthen the thoracic spine. So you're doing just a nice gentle back bend here. Keep your core engaged. And then take a little counter pose, release it, maybe come down to child's pose or a cat stretch. Because I want you to reverse the position of your back in between sets here and make sure it feels okay for you. And then come back up. This time we'll take the right fist and support here on the back. Bring the left arm forward, come into your back bend, and then turn to the right. So you're looking down to the right side. You can also tuck your toes underneath like this to lift your heels up, and you can see if you can touch your heel with your fingertips here. And again, this can be done standing if it feels better on your knees. And then pull yourself up Come into some type of a counter stretch that feels good for your back. Now, if doing the one with the twist isn't good for you, then you're going to do one more straight on with both fists behind your back. Or we'll come up, we'll put the left fist on the sacrum, start to bring the right arm forward. You can tuck your toes under, reach and turn to the left side. And maybe your left fingertips can find your heel. Maybe is with a capital M. Maybe. Good. Okay, we're not going to linger there long. Come back into one more counter stretch and relax. Okay, so I want you to think about how to do a chaturanga properly. So hands are here, and you can do this standing up also. Your wrists are flexed, and then you're going to bring the elbows close to your body until they touch the ribs, and then push away. So what I don't want you to do is let your elbows come out like this. They're really close to the center of to the sides of your ribs, and then we push forward. We're also not going to allow them to come way back here and to strain your shoulders. So elbows stay close, we come here, and we push away. So you can either do this standing, kneeling, or you can come down and do this from your hands and knees. And you can walk your knees back behind you any amount. And then we're going to do 10. So elbows stay close to the body, you'll lower down, and you'll push up. Now, if this is really hard down on the floor, just walk your knees in a little bit more. The further your knees are toward you, the easier it makes these chaturanga push-ups. If 10 is too many, do the count that feels okay for you. I've got 5 more. Really strengthening our triceps, strengthening our chest, our pec muscles. 4. You can make it really teeny tiny, just a small bend in your elbows. 3. This is why we did those wrist warm-ups. 2. And 1. Come back to your extended child's pose and relax. Okay, let's come all the way down to your tummy for some spinal extension and some strengthening of our back. If this is too challenging for you laying on your belly, you'll come to your hands and knees and you'll do a similar movement in bird dog position. So let's come down. What I'm going to do is cross my hands and place my forehead right on top of the back of my hands crossed. Now, all I want you to do is squeeze your glute muscles and try to push your hips down into the floor. And then release that. Tighten your glutes, push your hips down, and release it. So you'll be doing that with each of these movements we're going to do. So squeeze your glutes, push your hips down, and then lift your right elbow to come up off the floor, and then come down and relax your glutes. Then squeeze your glutes again, push your hips into the floor. Lift your left elbow up and come down. So your option if you're in bird dog position is you're going to slightly tighten your glute muscles and you'll lift one elbow up and then you'll come down and then you'll do it on the other side. So there is that option from the hands and the knees. So let's do one more on each side. Tighten the glutes. Right elbow lifts and down. Release the glutes and tighten left elbow up and lower down. Relax the glutes. Okay, what I want you to do is roll over to your left side here. And it's like you're in a little baby position. What do they call that again? Fetal position. And then we're going to bring the top knee up and try to take hold of the ankle. If that doesn't work, you can use a yoga strap or maybe even one of your little stretchy bands here. And we're going to pull the leg back into a hip flexor and quad stretch. So if you can reach the ankle, great. And then let's just hold this here, feeling that lengthening behind the top of that thigh, the front of the thigh into the quad. And just relax your head and breathe. So your option is to stay like this. If you'd like to roll back over onto your belly, your bottom leg is going to straighten and you'll roll back over and support your head here. This is a little bit more intense, and then you'll tighten your glute and push your hip down into the floor. And we'll just hold here about 3 more breaths. This is a half bow pose. And then relax that ankle or your yoga strap, whatever you might be using as assistance. Get it off my foot. And then roll back over to your tummy. And we're going to do contralateral raise. And you could do bird dog instead of this if you'd rather be on your hands and knees. So your arms are reaching forward. You're going to lift your right arm up, lift your chest up, and lift your left leg up. So you're in opposites. And then come down. Left arm, head comes up slightly, right leg, and down. So traditional bird dog is perfect for this. Right arm, left leg, and down. Left arm, right leg, and down. Let's get one more on each side. Good. And left arm, right leg, and down. Now you'll roll to the other side for your quad stretch and take the ankle or lasso your yoga strap around your foot. Relax your head and then pull back. And you don't necessarily have to get your heel to touch your bum. What we want to do is the knee to go back. So that's what's going to open up the hip flexor and the quad. And you can stay here on your side, or you can lengthen that bottom leg, and you can roll back over to your front side. Ooh, yes, that is a tight stretch for me. That's the knee replacement side. So it feels like that muscle is really stretching. Let's take about 3 more breaths here. And then relax. Okay, now locust pose. So back over to your belly. I want you to bring your hands next to the sides of your body with your palms down, and we'll lift the chest, an option to lift both legs up any amount. And then as you lower down, turn your head to the right so your left cheek is down on the floor. And then we'll do it the other way. Bring your head back to neutral, lift the chest, lift the legs, turn your head to the left, and relax. So if this isn't working for you, make any modifications that you need so you can do this exercise. You can also lift the arms behind you. That's more of a traditional locust position. And let's do one more on each side, turning your head to the right when you come down. And then last one, lifting up, turning the head to the left when you come down. And then slide your hands underneath your chest, squeeze your elbows in like a grasshopper, and push yourself up and take a counter stretch for your back. The back should be saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. So what's really good to do when we're doing a lot of spinal extension, as we have been, is to now go through some rotation for the spine. So we're going to do these laying on our back. So adjust yourself to come all the way down, bending your knees. And we'll start with some windshield wipers before we come into deeper stretches. So take your feet pretty wide and your knees wide. You can anchor your elbows out to the floor. And then just start to slowly do your windshield wipers, dropping from side to side. And this is a nice little hip flexor release. So you might notice that your hip wants to lift up off the mat, and that is fine. So when your knees go to the right, your left hip is going to lift a little. When your knees go to the left, your right hip will lift a little. Now my quads are very tight, so I still feel a stretch in my quad when I do this. But if your quads are pretty open, you might not feel that stretch, and that's fine. It's just nice and gentle. Okay, come back to center, walk your feet back in. Bring your right knee up toward your chest, hug it in, flex your ankle, and then circle your ankle around maybe 3 or 4 times one way, and then 3 or 4 times the other way. Then keep it flexed. Take your left leg and stretch it out long. Now, if you really like this, you can stay here for a little bit longer, but we're going to be taking this into a twist. So your left hand's going to hold onto your right knee. Your right arm will go out on the mat. We're going to pull that right leg across any amount. You can keep your head looking up toward the ceiling, or you can pick your head up and look to the right. Really nice twist. Gentle, not too forceful, just finding a comfortable edge. Still have a nice flexed ankle. You can even flex the ankle of the left leg and really tighten that leg muscle, those leg muscles. Good, then come back to the midline. Set your right foot back down on the floor. Hug your left knee up toward you. Push your low back down into the earth and circle the left ankle 3 or 4 times. And then reverse. Then keep the ankle flexed. This is dorsiflexion. It tightens your tibialis muscle. Glide the right leg all the way down to the mat. You can stay here a little bit longer, or take that right hand on your knee, left arm to the side, and start to pull the knee across into your twist. Option to pick your head up and look to the left. Maybe close your eyes and really enjoy this pose. Take some deep breaths. Flex both of your ankles. Lengthen that bottom leg out on the mat. Fire the muscles that hug the bones there. And then come back to neutral. Once you get there, hug both knees up to the chest. We're going to do egg beater circles. So I want your feet to stay together. Open your knees out like a clamshell. Press your knees away from you, but keep your abs tight. I don't want your back to lift off the mat. Then close your knees together and pull toward you. We open, your feet are still touching. We press away. We close and come in. If this bothers your back, I want you to make these very small. We've got 2 more this direction for 5 egg beater circles. Really brace your abs here. Then hug the knees back into the chest. Okay, we'll reverse the egg beater. So your feet stay together. You push the knees away from you. They're still touching each other. Then you separate them out like a clamshell. You bring the knees in toward your armpits slightly and close your knees together. Push away, open, pull it in, and close. 3 more. And try to keep your low back pressed down into the mat through the entire egg beater circle. Keep firing the core really hard. 1 more. And close the knees together and relax. Set your feet down to the floor, close together. Lift your hips up slightly into a baby bridge. So just hold this bridge. Now try not to overuse your arms on the mat. In fact, you might even lift your hands up if you feel like you're using them too much. And we're going to do little marching bridges. So right knee comes up and down. Left knee comes up and down. And right and down. And left and down. Maybe even put your hands right here on your hips so you can tell if your hips are getting kind of squirrely or if you're keeping them firm and engaged with your abs. It's definitely easier to do if your hands are down next to you on the mat. 2 more marching bridges on each leg. One more. And then come down from your bridge. Let's do 1 more knees to chest. So we're going to do a legs up the wall type of position. So you can just lift your legs from here. If you have a wall space, you can put your legs on the wall, or I'm going to turn around and actually put my feet up on top of my chair. So this is an option here. Feet on your chair, legs up against the wall. And we're going to do little running actions with our ankles. So flex and point, flex, I'm just showing with my hands, but you're going to be doing it with your feet. If your legs are up, flex and point, flex and point. So this is activating what they call the second heart, the muscle pump, the muscles of the lower legs. This helps with lymphatic flow from the extremities back toward the heart, firing the tibialis anterior and the calf muscles. Really good for the ankles for flexibility, strength, and mobility. Let's do about another 10 seconds. Ooh, I'm feeling that. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now stay in your legs up the wall position. Just relax your feet or legs on the chair so you've got some incline so you can let the blood flow all the way down toward the midsection. Now I'd like to try to stay here for about 2 minutes. So I'm going to just grab my little clock here. So your legs can be up, they can be on the chair, they can be on the wall, or any other position that feels okay for you just to stay in for about 2 minutes. And bring your awareness to your breathing. And we are going to breathe in for a count of 2, hold for a count of 1, and out for a count of 5. So there's 8 total counts. In for 2, hold for 1, out for 5. On your own. One more minute. And last 30 seconds. Finish one more round of the breath. In for 2, hold for 1, out for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Relax your feet back down to the floor. Roll to your side. Very gently press yourself up to a comfortable seat. We'll just be here for a moment's time, but if it feels better to sit on a blanket or block, take your time to do that. And I just want you to check in. And we did a pattern at the beginning of class, and I'd like to repeat it. We did it in a short stance warrior 1. We'll bring our palms to the heart center. Open back, expand the chest. Close the palms. Lift the arms. Maybe gaze up or take a slight back bend. And come down. We'll do that twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. And exhale, keeping the palms in our Anjali Mudra as we pause to celebrate our hard work today, the dedication we have to the health of our spirit, mind, and body, and to the LisaBug community. And the joy that resides within my heart honors the joy in the hearts of each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. Liz, I'll see you next week. I know you got to run, but if you can stay on for chat, everybody, I'll get our recording shut off and we'll see how you did today with your practice. Great job.